even before a game kicked off Saturday. It was huge news day in college football. After UCLA announced it hired Chip Kelly to coach the Bruins and Nebraska fired Mike Riley, the rivalry games began. As the day drew to an end, Auburn had once again given the college football playoff race a seismic shake. Thoughts, takedowns, and takeaways from the 13th week of the season. There are only 2 undefeated teams left, and neither is Alabama. Point 1. A college football playoff without no 1 Alabama? Very possible, even likely. At 11-1 and with no chance to win a conference championship after losing to no 6 Auburn, Alabama is going to need help to make it 4 straight playoff appearances. 2. The Tide always does well with the eye test, but the resume is light compared to what Ohio State did to reach the playoff without playing in its conference title game last season. Those Buckeyes reached Selection Sunday with 3 wins against top 10 teams, 2 on the road. Alabama's best victories will be against LSU and Mississippi State. 3. The SEC champion is in. The ACC champion is likely in, even with Miami's loss at Pitt. Oklahoma is in if it wins the Big 12. Unbeaten Wisconsin seems like a lock with a Big 10 title. There would be no room for the Tide. For what does Alabama need to happen? No. 8. Ohio State, 10-2, beating no 5 Wisconsin in the Big 10 championship game probably is a good place to start. No. 10 TCU, 10-2, beating Oklahoma could work, too. 5. It could be an interesting test for the selection committee, seeing how comfortable it is having 2 teams from one conference in the Final Four. The selections could also provide insight about how much the committee simply defaults to the digit in the loss column and what is the value of a conference championship. 6. So who's no. 1 now? The Tide has been on top of the AP rankings since the preseason. Miami was no. 2. Hello, no. 3. Oklahoma, 0.7. The last time the Sooners were no. 1 in November was 2003. 8. The winner of the Iron Bowl might have been no. 7. Georgia. The Tide and Tigers pounded each other and Auburn running back Kerryon Johnson left the game early with what coach Gus Malzahn said was a shoulder issue. 9. The Bulldogs easily took care of business against Georgia Tech and will show up at Mercedes Stadium, the fresher team, looking to avenge its only loss of the season. 10. Most impressive thing about Auburn's second victory in 3 weeks against the team holding the CFP no. 1 ranking, the Tigers clearly outplayed the Tide, a rarity in the Nick Saban era. 11. So far the Jim Harbaugh era at Michigan has been far more interesting in the off-season than it has from September to January. 12. Harbaugh is now 0-3 against Ohio State, and surely there are some Wolverines fans losing patience. Though probably just some. The program is in far better shape than it has been since the 1990s. 13. Michigan's 8-4 record this season is not shocking, but still pretty empty, with no victories against winning teams. Next season Harbaugh returns a mountain of talent and it will be on him to develop Brandon Peters or Dylan McCaffrey into a top-tier quarterback. No more excuses.